All right, so we're back. It is, what time is it? It's 7:36. I'm a little late to the game, but it's okay. I usually eat breakfast later, but I decided to eat breakfast now. Um, so as you can see, this is a lot calmer than the last 2, 3 days have been. Um, just with all that selling that was happening. Um, After the initial insane amount of buying. So let's measure this candle, for example. This is like the biggest one I can see, 139. Meanwhile, the last couple days, the smallest candle was like over like 150 or something like that. So, and that was the smallest candle. So we've calmed down a lot. As you can see, there's a lot of bar and bar. So we're kind of flat. Let's see what we did overnight. Zoom out just a little bit. So you see these very clean movements. Very yes. Anyways, boop 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 boop. So last night, well, first I went to fitness class. And then well, you saw I went to fitness class, and then well, and then I came back. I was We're up 6% is crazy. Yeah, so then I what did I do? Yeah, I came back and it was time for I had some oatmeal and I used that time to just go over some learning material because yeah. Um yeah, I just wanted to use that time to go over some learning materials so I can stay fresh because there are a lot of I'll say good ideas out there as far as, uh, well, there's a lot of good material out there as far as, well, as far as on YouTube and stuff. So just trying to make make good use of it, I guess. Um, yeah, what was I even saying? I don't remember. Um, Here's where we were oversold, blah, 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 blah. Because one thing, so after yesterday, I know I need to work on there needs to be some, in a sense, discriminatory practice in, well, let me check this. Check this. What was I saying? Yeah, there needs to be, because what I was saying is like, I had clear exit rules. Clear, okay, this isn't working, right? But what I have lacked consistently is I have lacked clear entry rules. And I don't want to enter fingers crossed, hope it works, I don't want to be entering like that because when entries are relative to how I'm feeling that day, then the problem becomes it leaves too much room for discretion, right? So you notice how my break and retest strategy, right? Break and retest strategy is clear. It's very clear, right? Candle has to break, has to hold, then there has to be a pullback on Renko, and then buy the continuation. Clear. It's very, very clear. The entries are not, they're not ambiguous, right? I could tell somebody else, right? But when it comes to entering with this, it's like, okay, when do you enter? Where do you enter? And that's the biggest problem is I don't know when and where. Hi, buddy. I don't know when and where to enter. Except, you have a concept in your mind of what you want to happen, and then there's what actually happens. And so, um, nailing down an exact, okay, this is exactly what I'm looking for, it's been my biggest challenge. And so right now, that's kind of what I'm looking for. Before I get an account, I need to have this put set in stone, right? It can't be just a hypothetical, however you feel, because that's not any way to trade long term. Um, Puff, what you got there, buddy? Bob. That's not any way to trade long term. Um, so yeah, what is this? Oopsie daisy. Okay, hold up. This was your entry right here. Based off of goodness, based off of my initial strategy. So you wait for that to close, it gets one tap, you enter, that's your entry. Even though technically it could have been, it was too fast. Keep watching. Dang, too fast. See, that was the entry, but like I said, too fast. So the initial entry should have been back here, technically. But then you would have gotten all chopped up. There would have been no real good entry. It would have been chopped up. It does sell, but like again, like I said, you're having to deal with all of the chop before it sells. And yeah. See, it's not as smooth as I want it to be. It's just not. Um, because as you can see, that was what negative like 1,000 something before it came down, which sound it looks good. I mean, all of these are green, but there's a ton of drawdown that's happening in there. There's a bunch of nonsense. There's a bunch of nonsense happening. Anyways, solution could be to go in smaller size. Again, like I said, I'm still working out like the bugs. Yeah, the bugs. Still working through some of the issues, um, specifically specifically related to entries because that's the biggest problem is how do you filter when to enter, right? Because the context is this: the market becomes overbought, okay, which means that there's some imbalance. The market may correct itself, it doesn't have to. So where are we filtering, or am I filtering out those corrections? And that's the bigger issue is, if the market's not going to correct itself, or if it's a brief correction, how am I optimizing entries? Plain and simple. How am I optimizing entries so that we're filtering this context, right? Because overbought oversold is not a trigger, it's a context. It's suggesting that maybe there needs to be some rebalancing that needs to happen. It's not specifically saying that it's going to happen. It's just an indicator that something might uh, not reverse, but there can be some sort of a reversion. And so that's the that's the big question mark. That's the big unknown. And what here's is where we bought up. That should have been the first entry. I waited for a pullback, entered, but then I got in a bad entry right here instead of right here. And if I had a one brick stop loss, I would have been done, right? And then it would have continued to go. So how am I gonna play this? And that's the big question. So I'm gonna keep working on this evening. Um, yeah, I'm gonna keep working on it this evening. Um, but that's what I have so far. Um, it's almost 8 o'clock. I will come back at 8:30. I have a meeting at 9. Um, a team lead who keeps dodging all of my questions. So there's that. Vote to reopen government. Let me check it. There shouldn't be there news today. 1 second. So I did not check my economic calendar. Let's see the third. Okay, there's job openings at 9. Okay, so there's news at 9. Um, oh yeah, and then on kind of a side note, so um, no, I got 5 minutes before 8. Okay, so I went to this boxing class. I got a Groupon, so it was like super cheap to go. And I went there, and it's a women's only boxing. So I'm like, okay, let's see what you get. Um, and it was very, very, very positive vibes. But I felt like I got a glorified cardio workout, and it was very brief too. It was like 45 minutes. You know, guy, my legs were shaking a bit, felt a little weak, but it wasn't anything dramatic, which is okay, it's fine. Um, but when I want to take boxing, I want to take boxing to learn boxing as a skill, not as another form of exercise. Yes, it's exercise and it's movement, but I also want to learn the skill behind boxing, not just running through drills like, okay, hit the bag this many times. Okay, now um hit the bag this many times. Okay, uh, jump up and down, do some burpees, do some sit-ups and with a 3 pound weight and do jabs on the air. Like, no, like, sure, that's good if you're warming up, but like, where's the skill training? So I messaged the instructor, and she's all like, yeah, I do teach, the skill, but you have to book a one-on-one session, which is an hour or 45 minutes to an hour, but it's $65 for a single session. And I'm just like, wait a second. So if I want to take boxing at least, let's pull out our calculator. So let's say I want to cycle boxing in, once a week. Let's just say once a week. Um, okay. Let's say I want to do it once a week. $65 each time I go. That's like $260 to get 1 day a week to learn the skill. And no, just absolutely, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's like, um, I don't know, for me, it's like, you know, if it's a boxing class, you should be learning boxing, right? Not just getting your heart pumping, your blood flowing, at 9 a.m. You should be learning boxing as a skill. And so, I don't know. I was very very, what's the word? I was very kind of disappointed in that because, like I said, I want to learn boxing as a skill, not just a not just a glorified cardio workout. It's like if I'm taking Soul Cycle or something, where people do the cycling. Not that there's anything wrong with cycling, but like if I wanted to just burn some calories on a Saturday morning, I would go to, I don't know, go to the park, go for a jog. That's free. Um, and not spend, what was her membership? It was like 100. Yeah, her membership was like $165. Um, yeah, well, let me read it to you because, yeah, let me just pull up the picture. Yeah, so for the membership to the gym, it's like, um, yeah, so it's $165 a month if you want unlimited training. So, um, yeah, so if you want like unlimited classes, you can go to as many classes as you want in the month. $165. I pay, 150 for, you know, classes all month at my fitness class, but also the coach can give you meal plans, personal training, blah blah blah. I mean, not personal training, but gives you tips, helps you out, etc. But just to go to her classes where she doesn't really provide that much instruction, she just basically calls out the exercises. Yeah, $165. If you only want to do 8 classes in the month, so only 2 classes a week, $140 a month. $25 less, but you get only 8 classes. And since there's classes like Monday through, I think it's Monday through Thursday or something, and then there's Saturday. So considering the fact that she has probably like one, two, three, she has a lot of classes. Like she has a lot of classes. And so yeah, considering that she has all these classes, 25 extra dollars gets you access to all of them, but only 25 less, and you only get access to 8, and then $90 for 5 classes. I don't know where this pricing is coming from. But then to have a personal training, which is a 1 hour session, personalized workout plan, $65 per session. And then equipment, glove purchase, $45. That was the other thing. I asked her about getting gloves, and she's like, oh, you can buy them here. But I asked her like if she had recommendations for gloves. Like if I had a business and I knew like my clients could get gloves, for cheaper elsewhere, I'd probably suggest them cheaper gloves elsewhere. But she's all like, oh yeah, you get them from me, they're cheaper. And now she didn't say they were cheaper, but she's all like, oh, buy them from me. And I'm just like, what? Like, I don't know. To me, that was a little shady because I'm like, shouldn't it be your responsibility to like provide people with all of their available options and not just what you um you feel like they need, but just providing all available options to the person? I don't know. Just a thought, just a thought. Just a little tiny baby thought. So yeah, so there's that. And then glove rental, $10. $10 to use some crusty ass gloves. Like nobody else was using them. Why does it cost $10? Also, she only accepted Zelle payments. I'm like, why don't you have things like Cash App or things like uh I don't know. Or if you're a legitimate business, get one of those card reader things so people can pay. Not be like, oh, does your bank do Zelle? No, my bank is a credit union and does not do Zelle. So I told her I'd bring her the money next time, but it's like I don't know if I want to go back, you know. And then a meal plan. This is where things got a little shady. She said on a little chart, a meal plan costs $60. Prices are sky high, sky high. And for $80, I can probably buy food for a couple of weeks comfortably. Probably, if I'm eating comfortably, if I'm eating good, probably a little over a week. But I can make it stretch. $80 could stretch for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And you want me to pay you $80 to give me a meal plan? Seriously, it's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, just like absolutely what? So no. You know, $65 per session is just not worth it. If she had like a plan, like a package that was like, $150 a month, you can, get personalized training, learn the skills for, $150 a month, that might be slightly more reasonable, but $65 for a single session. So if I want multiple sessions, I need, because that's the thing, like when I think about joining a boxing gym, I think about, you know, you have membership to the gym and then, you get access to get access to training, kind of how like if you buy a gym membership, sometimes you get access to like the personal trainers, etc. um and if you're teaching boxing, wouldn't you want to teach people boxing as a skill? Because boxing is a skill. It's not just hitting a bag. I could have hit a bag all by myself. Okay, I could have looked up YouTube videos on how to hit a bag. Okay, I want to know boxing is a technique with sparring, etc. And if you don't offer that without a hefty price tag, then it's not gonna work out. It's not gonna work out. It's not. So I need to send a response to her because she sent that last night and I have not responded. So there's that. But yeah, like I said about this bit trading specifically, whoa. But yeah, okay. So I'm gonna go, but I'll be back. Still gotta draw my levels. You know what? Maybe I can draw them because let's see, where did we start? We started here. 7:30 is right there. Okay, wait 1 second. Okay, so 7:30 starts it right here. Here. So the low is this. We actually might create a new low. Never mind. I might actually. Oh, man, this is the same. Okay. And then this one, high is. So if you measure the range, 300. Yes, I was close. 350, 49, 50, whatever. So yeah, I'll be back and then we'll see what happens. Crap, I forgot to turn on my sound. Oh, 1 second. I have SpongeBob playing. So first of all, this needs to move. Second of all, so there's your there's your over sold. She'll be looking for a brief sell back down, followed by additional buying. Because this one, okay, so 17. 17. Close right there. Okay, there's your sell back down. Goodness. All right, this is just based on my. Why did it put me all the way in up there? This is just based on my um, initial strategy. And as you can see, there's issues. There's a lot of issues. A lot of issues. So that should have been your. Okay, it's still going. Um, clearly a problem. Ouch. See, because sometimes initial the initial push, which was here, happens, and then when you try to enter after a pullback, it was only a very shallow oops, it was only a very shallow pull and then a continuation. And that's one of the problems. Yikes. That's one of the problems with this strategy, is that when you wait for a pullback, which isn't a bad thing to do, but when you wait for a pullback, sometimes you can get caught in um yeah, sometimes you can get caught the in this, right? This was clearly selling, but the strategy said, well, what I was doing before said, oh, enter here. Terrible entry, was never in profit, but it did pull, right? It became became overbought. Became oversold, and then it buys back up. It did do that, but the valid entry was here, and that's part of the problem. Um, that's part of the problem is if it continues to go up, that's great, but if it doesn't, you're like immediately screwed, right? Which is fine. Quick losses, but yeah, we have 7 more minutes. And then you have situations where it does eventually buy, but you weren't in any of that. Yeah. So, okay, we're open. Here's our high, here's our low. What did I say? It was four, it was 350 or something, close to 350. Or was that before? Okay, that was before. Now it's 570. Oops, there's no P there. All right. So what I'm wondering, and it's just a thought, but what if, what if? Okay, so let's say we're oversold. We wait for it to cross the center line here before looking for a buy here. One second. Still scrolling. Still scrolling. Still scrolling. Oh, here we go. Overbought. Oh, sorry, oversold. Buy. Across the center line. Here, we're oversold. Well, looks like we're coming down to the bottom. Okay, so we're here, for example, we're oversold, but we don't cross the center line to buy until here, which it then comes all the way back down. Let me just go back to present day, present current time, because we're all coming down here. So I don't want to miss my chance to look for an entry if there is one. So we're coming down to the bottom of the pre-market. We would have to break and hold. We tapped it. And we went all the way back up. Cool. We're right back down to the bottom and we just broke. Now we need to hold. And while we're here, let me fix this. Okay. So we could, seems like we could not hold that. We swept it and now we're coming all the way back up. The pattern I'm trying to find is what we tend to do if we break the range within the first 15 minutes. We get a break and retest versus it taking an hour to get a break and retest. So it looks like we're not gonna get that. We're coming up again. Oh yeah, so there's that. Keeping in mind there is news at 9. Hmm, maybe that's my team lead. I've been trying to meet with her for days now, and every time I'm like, "Oh, can we meet?" And she's all like, "Oh," it's a whole thing. Anyways, it turns into a whole thing. Um, All right, there you have it. Your 15-minute range is complete. All right, so we didn't get a break and retest within that first 15 minutes. So I am going to set the alerts. Get rid of these ones. All right, so we got news in like 5 minutes. I got a meeting in 5 minutes. So I probably I won't be narrating this. However, mm, yeah. It's just what's so frustrating is like I feel like I'm getting closer to an answer to a question, but I feel like I'm not asking the right question. Um, I don't know. It's weird. But it's like I can feel myself getting closer. It's just I don't know. And yes, I sent a message to my team lead, and guess what? She read my message and did not respond. So it's the same thing over and over again. So it's hard not to see trading as an escape from the stupidness um that is the everyday bull. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, we'll figure it out. Oh look, here we go. Now they're having their 90% off sale. Yeah, they weren't having their deals earlier. One data pass, no consistency rule in evaluation, but the PA fees are $75 instead of before they were 70 or something or less. I don't remember. So in total, that would be like 90 some dollars, which eh, eh, eh. Same bull with Apex. I don't know how long they're having this deal. Yeah, Apex is always having some random deal, and that's why uh I might get it just so I can be in practice mode without in paper practice mode, because paper practice mode and practice mode are two very different things. Um, but I will consider that later, not right now. So yeah, things to consider whether or not to get another Apex account to continue practicing. And then I really don't want to, however. And then the other question would be, um, uh-oh, meeting starting. Yeah, then the other question would be as to, I need to figure something out. Because that one strategy I was doing with the thing of the thing, I mean, it was simple, it was easy, it was to the point. Traded it for a month with no problems. But then, no, I don't know. We'll come up with something, but I got a meeting to go to. Well, okay, so I was in a meeting that took super long. Remind me later. Okay, so as you can see, we haven't broken anything at all. We did get an over. What's this? Where was news? Nope. News at 9 didn't really do anything. Um, we came up here. As you can see, we were over bought, and then we sold down without a problem. So that's good. It's good to see. Good to know. And I mean that was a good one too. A good calm, very calm. Um, yeah, that was a good one that just went down without any issues. Um, but yeah, still no break, and it's already 9:30. I'm gonna give it till about 10. I don't know. I guess I'll leave it up as for as long as it um for as long as it uh, I will leave it open for as long as there has yet to be a break of a level, but I got some emails to send and some things to do, so yeah, goodness. Oh my gosh. 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. We finally broke. Oh yeah. That was a very big break too. Yeah, I was about to walk away. I was not about to see this go through. Um, we're gonna be completely over bought. So there's your sell down. Well, okay, hold up. That's your buy. That's your that was the buy. That was the buy. However, I completely missed it because I could not get in. That was impossible. Also, my finger was not on the button. Okay, yeah, but like I said, that's your break and buy. It was just, it happened pretty fast. I mean, there technically was an opportunity, but I was coming to sit down. Okay. Um, yeah, but that was your break and your buy. So, I mean, see, that's better. Of course, not for me, uh, but that's this. Wow, okay. This is your entry, but now we're completely overbought. So then there's that as an issue too. Of course it does. So I'm gonna mark this. Hold up. Let me draw these lines. Yeah, perfect if you're trading the overbought and over sold signal, not if you're trading the hold on, where's the line? Where'd it go? Right here? Right there? Right here? 1 second. Yeah, see, if you had sold that because the sell was more relevant than the buy, you would be golden. Absolutely. This is why I'm. Hold on, let me fix this because this is messed up by like two. Let me by one. It's not even by a lot. Okay. Don't care. Okay, so. But that just, I don't know. This was your buy. It technically bought. Technically. Look at that. 98, 85. And that's all from being overbought because we're overbought on here. This is your sell. Yeah, here's your sell. Okay. Um, Let me just draw this circle. Zoom, put that there. Okay, now let's go to our arrow. 1 second. See, because you missed the initial one, you buy in one more time, complete reversal, but that's what was happening before because it was coinciding with an overbought zone. Period. Anyways, let's draw our arrow. Can't see anything. To be down 7,000 is crazy. Yeah, it was down literally 7,000. Absolutely ridiculous. Anyways, ouch. Oh, hey, buddy. Okay, so what am I gonna write about this one? How many seconds between this one? 16:56 and 01. So it was uh 5 seconds. Yep, it was literally 5 seconds. Um, Crazy. Yeah, so there were literally like 5 seconds to get in, and then it was done. So, um, did it do it? Yes. But then you had this coincided with overbought. Let me draw this. Became overbought, sold quickly, very quickly. Okie dokie. Yeesh. Okay, well, that's enough time in the sun, dear. That's enough time on the charts. I'm going to screenshot. Can I screenshot this while I'm in a trade? Let me just try it and see. Let me move this. Let me just make a note for today and yesterday. Because yesterday I did not make a note about the CBD, so I need to. What's up, little guy? Okay, so now I don't care. I spelled it wrong. Whatever. So let's hit download. What is it, little buddy? Let's hit download. Okay, let's see what it looks like. It's okay, buddy. Okay, let's just open this up. It's okay, Bob. It's okay. Why are you crying? Did I open it? Bob. Okay, I did not open it. Okay, here we go. Let's pull this. Okay, yeah, you can see it. I was like, all right, so everything's there. Now I'm just going to move this over. Why are we moving this? Not move it. Copy. Why do I do this? Why do you do this? Okay. Copy. And then go chart images. Goulet. Isa Goulet. Paste. Oh boy. Every time. Wee. Okay. Gonna do Tuesday, Feb. Oh, you wanna go back over there? Come on. Okay, I got you. February 3rd, 2026. Okay, and save that. Bobby, 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 Bobby. Papa, am I annoying you? Okay, go. You are annoying me. Okay. Now we shall see. Okay. So yeah, that's the frustration with this is that um I don't know. I guess the frustration is I don't know. I don't know. And it's kind of sad. Okay, so that is that. I will have some reflections to do, but right now I need to get back to work.